an adjacent Elam field goal to take a 3-0 lead. The 6-0 Broncos, the 5-1 Jacksonville Jaguars. Two teams with not very much history, but a whole lot of history.
Well, you know what's good? They played 3 meaningful games in the last 2 years. We talked about it earlier today. They really, in a short period of time, have built this little hatred up for each other, and it really makes for good football on the field. And we can hear it in their words, and I think we're going to see it on the field today.
Mike Logan and Reggie Barlow deep for the Jaguars. This is Barlow. The 20, 25, and out to about the 27-yard line. Tito Paul making the tackle for the Denver Broncos, and we'll take a timeout. That's where the Jaguars will go to work when we come back to Mark Brunell as we welcome you back to Mile High Stadium in Denver and the Jacksonville Jaguars. In his 6th season out of Washington State, Brunell with 9 touchdown passes and 5 interceptions thus far in the Jaguars' 5-1 season. The Jaguars will go to work from their own 27. Play action right off the bat. Time to throw. Throws down near side. Incomplete. Intended for Jimmy Smith, and fighting in for the football is Darian Gordon.
Well, Jacksonville, they know they got to come out and attack today, make some plays right off the start. They go down the field. Look at this route, going way inside. Jimmy Smith then breaks out. Good throw, but Darian Gordon, good job making it up, getting those hands up into the face of the receiver, and breaks it up.
That was that close to being a longer play than the Jaguars put on the board all of last week against Buffalo when their longest play from scrimmage was 14 yards.
Tom Coughlin, 119 yards passing last week. He says, that's disgusting, embarrassing. It's not going to happen again.
2nd and 10. Over the middle. Incomplete, almost intercepted. Number 51, John Mobley, had it and lost it. The rest of the Jacksonville offense. What a terrific offensive line with Baselli, Coleman, New Year, Tilsky, and Leon Searcy. The running backs, Fred Taylor and Damon Shelton. Jimmy Smith and Keenan McCardell, the wideouts, and Pete Mitchell, the tight end. I think Tom Coughlin looks at 3rd and 10.
Talking to Mark Brunell yesterday, seemed pretty excited. The fact that he's going to get to throw the football a lot today.
This is his 3rd attempt in as many tries. Threw it and sailed on him a little bit. Appeared to be tipped at the line of scrimmage as Jimmy Smith made the dive for it close to midfield.
Looked like Alfred Williams got his big hand up inside. There's a receiver going across the middle. Mark Brunell sees him. Pete Mitchell looks like he's open. Alfred Williams, number 91, tips the ball, makes it go behind the receiver.
And this punt means that Jacksonville will go scoreless on their first drive, which means 34-0. Denver outscoring their opponents on first drives of games this season. That's unbelievable.
Well, that's why you're 6-0. You're dictating the pace of play. You can determine what the other team's got to do. That gives you a better chance of making positive plays for your team.
Darian Gordon from his 28 to the 40, and a penalty marker is down. And he's pushed out of bounds. 45-yard punt and a 16-yard return, and the Jaguar is still down on the field. That's number 85, Rich Griffin. Our referee today is Phil Luckett. And this is going to back the Broncos up.
Well, you can see the block from behind up here. And if I can pick it out, you know the officials can, so.
The illegal block in the back on the receiving team. Number 31, the foul occurred during the return. 10 yards, first down.
So the Broncos will be backed up, and they'll take over 1st and 10 with a 3-0 lead as we take time out.
Proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. Honda Accord. It's more than a car, it's a state of mind. And by the NASDAQ stock market.
As we come back to Denver, that's Rich Griffith on the sideline, was helped off the field after being hit from behind. And that's just what Tom Coughlin needs, is another little injury bug, right?
Well, the problem there is he's the punt snapper. So that always worries the coach when their first-string punt snapper goes down. Oh, that just brings out a lot of anxiety about field goals, punts, all those type of things.
Broncos with the ball at their own 27-yard line. The toss to Davis. Davis cuts it back inside across the 35, and another first down for the Broncos.
This is the play they run every single week. They run it against everybody, and they hammer everybody with it. The toss left, Terrell Davis, watch this, no stutter steps, goes outside, sees a little cutback, takes it up in there, and then when he thinks he's going to get hit, he covers himself up, lowers his shoulder, and just picks up an extra 5 yards.
You see what he has done this year. He's out rushing only 22 teams in the National Football League. 31 yards so far for him today in his pursuit of 135, which would get him to 1,000 on the season. Elway to the sideline, complete and out of bounds. Howard Griffith out of the backfield.
Exactly. It was like...
You know, watching Terrell Davis, you know, I've seen him so much over the last 3 years, Craig, and then, you know, you stand on the sideline and you get a chance to get down there at field level and watch him like we did in practice, and you go, wow, he is really, not only is his size impressive, but how fast he can run. He looks faster than the other players on the football field, and even his teammates think he's gotten a little bigger and a little faster over last year.
Terrell Davis will turn 26 years of age this coming week. Here's the pitch to Davis, comes to the near side. 45-yard line and out of bounds. He may have picked up 2 on the play before Bryce Pop ran him out of bounds. Terrell Davis was noted in the papers this morning.
Yeah.
Brought 9 watches to the stadium.
9 Rolex watches to the practice facility yesterday. 3 linemen, 2 tight ends, Howard Griffith, the fullback, 2 wide receivers.
And
then
John Elway.
Well, you know, John does a heck of a job handing that ball off to him. So he said, thanks a lot, John. And, you know, just a nice gesture for all the good things that they've done for him. Of course, gaining all the yards last year and what they've done so far this year.
3rd and 4. Elway with plenty of time to throw, loves it for Shannon Sharp and incomplete. Good job by the Jacksonville secondary on pass coverage. Elway with time to throw and couldn't get it done, and so the Broncos will kick it away.
You said it right. Good job down the field by the defensive backs. A blitz, it's picked up. John Elway has a lot of time to throw the football. Nobody gets any separation. He has to throw it away.
And now Tom Rowan, the best punter in the National Football League, will kick it for the first time today. 48.3 yards a punt. Mike Logan is deep for Jacksonville. Rowan lines this one from his 12 to the 20, 25, and out to about the 28-yard line. 43-yard punt and a 16-yard return. The clock is stopped with 8:09 to play in the first quarter. The Broncos with a 3-point lead. Queens is the hands down, flat out funniest new comedy of the year. Kevin James, Leah Remini, and Jerry Stiller star in The King of Queens Monday on CBS. As we come back to the action here at Mile High Stadium, first down from their own 28-yard line for the Jaguars. Mark Brunell has thrown on every down thus far. And the first running play of the day, Fred Taylor. Taylor right side across the 30 out to about the 32 or 33-yard line. Here's our first chance to look at the Denver defense today. Up front, Neil Smith, Keith Traylor, Trevor Price, Ma'a Tanuvasa. The linebackers are quick and strong, Mobley, Kadrez, and Romanowski. In the secondary, the corners, Crockett and Darian Gordon, Eric Brown, the rookie, and Steve Atwater, the veteran, at safety. 2nd and 6 from the 32. Blitz is picked up over the middle, incomplete. Pass intended for Keenan McCardell. It'll be third down. Let's go down to Armin Katayan. Armin.
Hey, Greg, you mentioned Fred Taylor and his status of his sprained left shoulder. I watched him very closely during pregame warm-ups. 3 things. They never threw a pass to him above his shoulder, and when they did, he never lifted his arms up to catch it. 2, during the running drills, they popped him a couple of times, and Tom Coughlin, he talked to him, and Tom Coughlin was shaking his head afterwards. And then even in the pregame introductions, when they went by him and they hit him a couple times, he flinched. It doesn't look long as far as as questionable as his play. Back to you.
All right, Armin, on third down, Brunell 0 for 4 in the passing department. Over the middle, complete. Jimmy Smith, first down across the 40-yard line. 11-yard pickup for the Jaguars.
That's a strong throw by Mark Brunell. Good route by Jimmy Smith. Takes it up the field, knows how far he has to go for the first down. And this is tough for a corner, Ray Crockett, to have to follow a receiver all the way across the field and try to keep up with him.
That's a play you never see from the Jacksonville Jaguars. You hardly ever see them run a slant.
I swear that's the first time I've seen them go short across the middle with a wide receiver all year long. So they're bringing out some different things today.
New things happening for Tom Coughlin. Timeout on the field, called by the Denver Broncos. We'll be right back.
To do more, and by Acura.
As we come back to Mile High Stadium, back to action. First down for the Jaguars, their own 43-yard line. Brunell, straight drop, has time, throws near side. Jimmy Smith all alone and knocked out of bounds inside the Denver 30-yard line. Steve Atwater coming over to make the hit.
Boy, that's putting the ball, pressure the defense up the field. That's what Jacksonville loves to do with their passing game. Again, Jimmy Smith, look at him. He's going way inside. Keenan McCardell is going up the field when he turns out there is nobody there. Pete Mitchell, the tight end, and brought up the corner up short. Jimmy Smith found that open zone in between.
First down, Jaguars at the Broncos 27. George Jones in the backfield now for the Jaguars, and he gets the handoff. Almost to the 25 before he's pushed back by Trevor Price.
Well, Fred Taylor carried the ball one time, and he's already on the bench. That time, Damon Shelton, the fullback, George Jones, the halfback. And, you know, Tom Coughlin told us during the week he was hoping Fred Taylor would be ready. They ran some drills in practice, tried to bump him around, you know, not full contact. He was hopeful that he'd be ready to go today and be part of the game plan, but it doesn't look good.
George Jones, second-year man out of San Diego State, lines up behind Damon Shelton. Play fake. Brunell on the run, throws out of bounds as he is forced out of bounds by Tranavasa.
For both these teams, you got to remember now, this is the 4th time they've played each other in less than 2 years. And it looks like they're familiar with a lot of things that each other's doing. Mark Brunell, in years past, when he would run those little bootlegs or roll out, there would be nobody there. He'd take his time, run, or throw it down the field. But Denver, little experience, staying in place.
It was really interesting for us to talk to both these clubs. The Broncos still are not over the fact that the Jaguars ruined their season 2 years ago, and the Jaguars don't like what Denver did to them last year in the playoffs. 3rd and 8. Brunell, time again, pulls it down, gonna run, near side, 20, and slides out of bounds at about the 18-yard line. Middle linebacker Glenn Cadrez in pursuit.
Well, we've seen this so many times from Mark Brunell, and this is what the Denver defensive players, they say about him. Hey, when you play this team, it's all about him. Can you pressure the quarterback? And even if you do, look what happens. Not running as much as he used to in the past, but still has the speed and knows when to run to get those valuable yards.
And on 4th and 1, Brunell and the Jaguars are going to go for it.
Got to go for it. You got to have points to beat this team. That's what Tom Coughlin's thinking about.
Shelton and newcomer Zach Crockett in the backfield. Play action, Brunell keeps it, right side, gets first down yardage out of bounds at about the 17-yard line.
Well, that's what you do when you got a quarterback that's mobile in these situations. 4th and 1, let him have 2 options. Fake the run and play. Look at the defense, everybody running. Now it comes out if somebody's wide open, you throw it. They're not wide open, run for the first down.
If that play looked a little familiar for the Jaguars, that's exactly what Doug Flutie did to them late in the game last week.
Well, Chris Palmer, the offensive coordinator, says, hey, if they can do it, so can we. Let's put it in. Works.
First down, Jaguars at the Denver 16. Jones diving. Didn't appear to pick up any yardage. Meanwhile, Fred Taylor on the sideline, getting talked to and checked out.
Well, that means he's a little dizzy. Probably took a blow to the head, and you know, it's such a tough week. When you're injured as a player, you work so hard, you spend so much energy trying to get well. It really takes your focus off of a lot of other things, and then nothing you can do about taking a hard hit to the head.
2nd and 10. 10th play of the drive for the Jaguars. Brunell throws it away, overthrows everybody, and ends up on the ground. Glenn Cadrez, the first of the Broncos, in on Brunell.
Well, Tom Coughlin, he talked about this Denver defense. And look, they're up on the line of scrimmage. You can see the blitz coming by linebackers. Glenn Cadrez almost comes in untouched. But he says, well, of course they can blitz. They can take chances. They know their offense is going to score a lot of points. So they come up there, and it's hard to have long, sustained drives against the Denver Broncos because they're going to force you to either make the play or they're going to make it against you.
Brunell now 2 of 8. And the noise from the crowd revs him up, and Brunell calls timeout.
He didn't beat it. Delay a game before he called timeout.
The delay of game call goes against the Jaguars. 3rd down. And it'll be 3rd and 15.
Now, Mark Brunell said he came in Wednesday for the game plan. He thought the noise, the crowd, we probably won't have any checks. It'll be a simple game plan. He looks at it, he goes, nope, it's not. It's complicated. Got to make calls at the line of scrimmage over this noise to help your offensive line pick up blitzes to give you a chance to throw the football down the field.
Number 81, Will Moore, in as an extra wide receiver.
He's changing the protection.
And he ran out of time again.
No, he did not. It's
This play doesn't count. The whistle sounded before the snap. It'll be another delay of game.
Now, Tom Coughlin told us they practiced this week. They worked hard on it.
Prior to the snap, delay of game, offense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Tom Coughlin wanted to give the quarterback a lot of time to get ready. Now he's telling Quentin Newyear, I'm ready. He points to the ground. Quentin Newyear says, set, go. The offensive line goes off of his snap count. But again, when you make changes, trying to fight this crowd noise, it takes a long time. It sounds good in meetings, and it works on your practice field. Hard to do when you're at the game site.
Broncos defense has gotten a lift from the crowd the last 2 snaps. 3rd and 20, Brunell. Time to throw, pulls it down.
Back of the end zone.
Still looking, throws, corner of the end zone. Did he stay in? Touchdown. Will Moore, number 81. And did that ever quiet the crowd? But there is a flag down on the far side of the field, and it's going to come back.
Illegal forward pass, offense number 8, throwing the ball beyond the line of scrimmage. Penalty is 5 yards, loss of down, makes it 4th down.
Look, here's the line of scrimmage. Now watch Mark Brunell as he's watch Mark Brunell. He steps up in the pocket. He's going to come up. Oh, way past the line. Wow. 5, 6 yards past the line of scrimmage. It's not close. I did not like the strategy the Denver Broncos used that time. 3 guys rushing, gives him that extra time. Then when it does break down, it's easier for him to scramble around, get that extra time to find the receiver who's open.
Jacksonville loses down on the play, and so now Mike Hollis will line up a 35-yard field goal. He missed 3 of his first 5 to begin the season. He's made 5 of his last 6. This is a 45-yarder. That's perfect. So Hollis drills the 3-pointer after the touchdown is called back. 4:01 to play in the game, and Tom Coughlin of the Jacksonville Jaguars sees his team pull even at 3 apiece here in the first quarter. back at Mile High Stadium. 4:01 to play in the first quarter of a 3-3 tie, and Jacksonville about to kick to Denver. Vaughn Hebron, number 22, as you take a look at the numbers on the last Jacksonville drive. Hebron from the 5. 20, 25, now to about the 27, maybe the 28-yard line. While we have a moment, let's remind you, tomorrow here on CBS, kickoff a night of comedy with Cosby. Then Kevin James and Jerry Stiller star in the funniest new show of the year, The King of Queens, followed by back-to-back episodes of Everybody Loves Raymond, Monday night's #1 comedy. And then the highest-rated new drama of the season, L.A. Doctors. That's all Monday, and it's all right here on CBS. 91st quarter points. And that outdistances 4 teams in all. First down, Denver. The Broncos 28. The toss to Davis, left side, and it doesn't get very much. But that, as you said earlier, is the Broncos' bread and butter.
That's their signature play of this offense. Let's just take a look at it and how it works for the Denver Broncos. John Elway, what he does, he takes it, throws it to Terrell Davis. If they seal the outside, he goes that way. But if they cut him on the backside and he sees a hole, he goes through there with a lot of speed and toughness. And that's all the Jacksonville Jaguars talk to us about defensively. They said, we've got to stop the cutbacks of Terrell Davis.
3 wide receivers in for the Broncos on 2nd and 10. Coming from the far side, Rod Smith on the reverse, 30, and dragged down at about the 35-yard line by Kevin Hardy.
Boy, good discipline. That goes back to the theme of the day for the defense. Don't be a hero. Don't chase the play. It looks like it's going to go left the play. No, it's a reverse right. And Kevin Hardy, number 51, look at him inside. He doesn't quite get out of position. He uses his speed, gets away from the cut block, and makes the tackle down the field on Rod Smith. Good play by Kevin Hardy. Look
at the rookie Donovan Darius fighting off the big blocker out front. 3rd and 3. First down to Rod Smith.
You know, something you're going to get a lot against the Jacksonville defense. The corners are going to play man coverage, and in these situations, they're going to play off. And look, John Elway, 3rd and 3. Well, he knows he has about 5 yards of margin to work with on the left side. That's just easy pitch and catch for him and Rod Smith.
Rod Smith in his 4th season out of Missouri Southern. And Smith with 3 touchdown catches on the year so far. First down from the 47. Elway rolls, quick pitch, complete. Across midfield is Dwayne Carswell. And for an NFL Today report, let's check in once again with Jim Nance in New York. Jim.
All right, Greg and Phil, the Raiders are 4-2 on the year. They come off the bye week. Donald Hollis, the starter, and in the first quarter, he finds an open Tim Brown. 7-0. They're about to start the second quarter there in Oakland. Back to you.
All right, Jim, the clock running here with 70 seconds to play here in the first quarter of a 3-3 game, Jaguars and the Broncos.
You know, Greg, yesterday meeting with the Jacksonville Jaguars, a couple things. I know they're a little chippy. They were all chippy. They lost to Buffalo last Sunday, but they're tired of hearing about this Denver Broncos offensive and defensive team period. One of the funnier things, you saw Terrell Davis on the carry. We were asking Shannon Sharp about this running attack, and Shannon says, well, I'm wondering when they're going to put 11 or 12 or 13 or 15 guys in the middle. To stop our running attack, what you got to do, you got to put about 11 guys up in that box running the line of scrimmage, and you just got to hope the quarterback is blind. That's the only way you can stop us. So, very confident in the abilities of this offense, and rightly so. They do it all. They protect the passer. They run the football with power, finesse, and of course they throw the ball down the field when they need to.
And with 20 seconds on the clock, 19 now to play here in the first quarter, John Elway walks out of the Denver huddle and uses Denver's second timeout of this first half as we come toward the end of the first quarter. We'll be right back.
way to pick up the first down.
First quarter winds down. The Denver Broncos, out of the 15 minutes of the first quarter, held the ball for 10 minutes and 14 seconds. Moral victory for the Jaguars that they're even at 3. We're back for the start of the second quarter right after this. Shanahan has made it a point to throw the ball more often today than he has all season long. We told you the Broncos had the ball the majority of the time in the first quarter. First and 10 from the 41. Elway's going to throw it again. Plenty of time. Down the middle. McCaffrey, the 10. Touchdown. John Elway had all day to throw the football.
Well, it's so tough for a corner to play a receiver for this long down the field. Aaron Beasley, Ed McCaffrey, the Broncos do a good job running the pass route that takes the safety out of the middle. It lets Ed McCaffrey run across the middle. Nobody there. Aaron Beasley's looking around. Where is my help?
5th touchdown of the season for McCaffrey. Elam with the extra point. And John Elway, career touchdown pass number 285. 10-3 Broncos.
Think it's run. Chris Hudson is supposed to be back here. Watch what happens. Ed McCaffrey comes over the top. He goes to the short route. Nobody back. Just a good job of game planning by the Denver Broncos. They made them think run. They threw the ball over the top.
The kickoff sails into the end zone, and they're going to run it out. This is Mike Logan. Logan hits hard and driven back from the 15-yard line. Loose football. The Broncos say they have it. We have no official word yet from the officials.
Jacksonville's got it.
The official word would be from the officials.
Well, when I see one of their players of Jacksonville running down the field with the ball, I figure that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Todd Fordham, number 78, somehow got in the bottom of the pile.
And Logan is still down.
Well, watch what happens. He brings it out. And the speed of the special teams of the Broncos, it comes down. And that is just a tough hit up inside by Tito Paul.
Recovered by Jacksonville. First down.
And Logan still on the ground at about the 14-yard line.
You can see what happened. Tito Paul, number 28, just hit him square on. His face hit him right in the chest, going full speed. Well, it's got to hurt.
Well, we'll take this moment to remind you Halloween is just around the corner. Tomorrow night, you're in for a special treat with a monstrously funny all-new Everybody Loves Raymond. Monday, starting at 9, 8 Central. And that's right here on CBS. And only now does Mike Logan get to his feet. Second here out of West Virginia, and that is the second Jaguar to be helped off the field today. Earlier, Rich Griffith was carted off to have his knee looked to and hasn't returned yet. So Jacksonville will start from their own 12-yard line, trailing 10-3. Damon Shelton, running room, 20, 25, and that's a first down. 16-yard pickup for Damon Shelton.
He's running to the right, and look who's leading the play. Left tackle, number 71. Tony Baselli comes around, makes the block. Glenn Cudrez almost gets away from it and makes the tackle. And Damon Shelton, Tom Coughlin said, it's a shame we lost last week. This guy ran the ball hard for the first time all year. Got his first carries, blocked well, protected the quarterback.
He's going to get another carry this time around the left side, and he's out across the 30-yard line.
And he says it's a shame we lost because I wanted to honor the guy. I wanted us to honor him for doing such a terrific job under such tough circumstances. Running back's hurt. They asked him to come in, and he had not carried the ball one time. 13 times last year against Buffalo. Last week he carried the ball 13 times.
Tom Coughlin said I'd have given him 12 game balls if he had won. 2nd and 7 from the 30. Brunell to throw. And now throws far side, incomplete. Number 83, Pete Mitchell, the intended receiver, but had Bill Romanowski all over it.
Well, I tell you what, Jacksonville's played this defense. They think they know when the Denver Broncos are going to blitz. They can read the alignments, and look, here comes the pressure up inside. John Mobley just gets stoned up in front. Mark Brunell, plenty of time, but nobody open. Good job of just throwing it away. Wait for the next down. Chris Palmer, offensive coordinator. He must have had some fun drawing up all these plays this week. Kind of abandoning the running game, going with the passing game.
Of necessity. Brunell from the shotgun. Comes to the near side, looking, throws downfield and throws it away. And he is rolled out of bounds by number 91, Alfred Williams. It'll be 4th down.
You know, just talking to a few coaches, Greg, though, but this is the offense that Denver didn't want to see. They don't want to see Mark Brunell throwing the ball 40 times, moving around, trying to make those big plays. They prefer Jacksonville running up in there, take their chances of defending the pass, you know, once out of every three plays. When you do it every time like this, it's dangerous.
Darian Gordon, a terrific and dangerous punt returner, is deep for the Broncos. Barker's kick, and Gordon will let that one as it goes out of bounds. And that'll stop the clock with 13:08 to play in the first half. The Broncos get the ball back, and they lead it by 7.
On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. IBM. Are you ready for e-business? And by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. This is the taste.
Along with Armin Katayan and Phil Simms, Greg Gumbel at 3. No, it's Mile High Stadium.
Mile High. What was you going to say?
Area code 303.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is.
There you go.
13:08 to play in the first half, and Denver starts from its own 29-yard line. Elway to throw. Goes deep. Rod Smith with a step on his man and couldn't hold on. He had Dave Thomas beaten down the sideline.
Boy, one-on-one coverage on the outside. Denver catches them in a blitz. They pick it up. John Elway has plenty of time, and the throw is perfect. It's to the outside, and a quarterback, when you throw the ball down the field about 50, 55 yards, and it's right on the money, it does hurt. You want it to be complete.
Let's go back to what we said at the top of the show. The Jaguars want John Elway to beat them. They have run 67% of the time all season long, but he has thrown more times than he's run the football, although this time he gives to Terrell Davis up the middle. He's across the 35-yard line.
Well, they know, and it's just like this. You know, it's a game of chess. Mike Shanahan, he expects Jacksonville to play the run tough because that's what they've been doing so well. So he designed a lot of plays early in this game to go down the field. We've seen he's done it. They've had success, and, you know, Mike Shanahan, you can see 12 passes, 10 runs. He's got to be feeling a lot better about his play calling. 2 weeks ago against Seattle, he got disgusted because he had 4 straight 3-and-outs. He told Gary Kubiak, he says, I can't do it, you do it.
3rd and 3. Elway, quick drop throw, sideline, in and out of the hands of Rod Smith.
Well, you can see 3rd and 3 and less. They're going to try these quick out patterns because the corners are playing off and they have no help inside. And John Elway and Rod Smith would complete this pass about 95 out of 100 times. That is a completion. He dropped that ball on the way down. He had possession.
That was career pass attempt number 7,000 of John Elway.
Makes my arm hurt.
That's number 2 all time to Dan Marino, who is up over the 7,600 mark. Tom Rowan's kick. Ricky Barlow, 20. Gets a block.
to finish up about Mike Shanahan calling the plays. So he hands them over 2 weeks ago to Gary Kubiak, the offensive coordinator. Kubiak does a really good job. So after the game, Mike Shanahan says, hey, that's a really good job, but you didn't have to show me up that much.
And John Elway didn't object at all.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's go get him.
Let's go, Q. There's Gary Kubiak. Came in the league same time as John Elway. They were rookies together.
Illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 20. The foul occurred during the return. 10 yards. First down.
So the Jaguars ruin their field position by 10 yards. Clock is stopped on the field. 12:05 to play. Jacksonville by a 10-3 score. Coming up at halftime, we'll be sending you off to New York for the NASDAQ halftime report. Jim, Marcus, Brent, and George getting you caught up on all the action from weekend number 8 of this season. It's coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report. Fred Taylor back into the game at running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Brunell lost the football. Denver has it. Keith Traylor.
Ball's just laying there. I mean, that is a killer if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars. The fumble, the snap, the exchange. Watch what happens. It looks like maybe Mark Brunell. No, Quentin Newyear. The ball just slips out of his hand. It never even gets up. He rolls it back. Mark Brunell immediately knows something's wrong, looks for it, no chance. Keith Traylor, number 94 on it. Sometimes in a grass field, the center, the ball gets caught in a clump of dirt, mud, whatever. It looks like that's what happened that time to Quentin Newyear.
Broncos first and goal from the 9. Elway going to throw. Corner of the end zone. McCaffrey. Touchdown. Penalty marker is down. And this one will come back.
Well, it's
terrific job in the corner of the end zone by Ed McCaffrey.
When they threw it, I said, there's no way he's going to get his feet down. Not only did he catch it, got to remember he's 6'5", but he drugged that back foot.
Holding. Offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty. It remains first down.
That's the right tackle, Harry Swain, who had a clamp on Joel Schminge.
Harry Swain, number 74 on Joel Schminge. Here he is, number 74. Watch him. Play action. Fake. Gets that arm out around. As soon as that right arm hit, or his left arm, went into the front of Joel Schminge, they are going to call holding in that situation. And surely when the defensive player falls down, too.
First and goal from the 19. Elway over the middle, wide open at the 5-yard line is Shannon Sharp. Ball will be spotted at the 4.
John Elway had plenty of time again. Jacksonville being aggressive, coming with the blitz. Watch Terrell Davis. Watch him. He's a good runner. Watch him pick up the blitz. He picks up Bryce Pop, 95. Give John Elway time. Shannon Sharp, one-on-one down the field against Chris Hudson. That's a matchup Denver loves.
Denver second and goal from the 4. Davis, big hole, touchdown. Snap proves costly to the Jaguars. And Jason Elam to add the extra point. And it's perfect. And so with 11:08 to play in the first half, it is now 17-3.
Watch, no hesitation by Terrell Davis. Goes right, cuts it up in the end zone before anybody has a chance. They even put an arm on him. Donovan Darius tackles him in the end zone. But look, when the running back never hesitates, Terrell Davis didn't hesitate, that's going to be positive yards.
And Terrell Davis with the mile-high salute over his last 16 games, the length of a regular NFL season. He's rushed for 2,010 yards and 20 touchdowns.
Terrific stuff. Maybe it's hard to argue right now. Terrell Davis could be the best player in the National Football League, and he's playing with the team and offensive line. I know he has a tremendous supporting cast, but this guy, I think he'd be doing great things running the football with just about any team.
As we said, he bought 9 Rolex watches for members of his offensive team. What'd you do for your guy?
I did that. You know, you'll see at the end of the year, after I've worked with you all year, I always like give a gift to the people that help me. So I don't know what I'll get. Beanie Baby, how's that? You like those things, don't you?
Yeah.
You know, I go all out. I spend it all. But that is a really good thing. Terrell Davis doing it, shows that he cares, how much he appreciates his offensive linemen, his tight ends, and really his fullback, Howard Griffith, number 29, has done a terrific job blocking off.
Reggie Barlow and Elvis Whitted deep for the Jaguars. This is Barlow. Barlow put it up as if he might throw one cross country. There's a penalty marker down as he breaks to midfield to the 40, the 30, and is dragged down at the 5-yard line, but there's a penalty marker way back at the 15-yard line. And the Broncos are saying bring it back.
I thought I saw a block that was going to happen to the back, but I don't know if he actually did it. He was in position, but it didn't look like the Jacksonville player pushed him from behind.
Well, the Broncos were saying let's bring it back, but the officials certainly haven't said so. At halftime, the Denver Broncos hold the lead here at 27-10. Reggie Barlow and Elvis Whitted deep, and it's Barlow from the goal line. 25-yard line. Halftime statistics heavily favor the Denver Broncos. Look at the total yards.
Denver 301 yards. A lot of teams would think that is a pretty good job for the whole game. They did it in the first half against a good Jacksonville defense.
16 first downs to just 6 for the Jaguars. And the Jaguars will start from their own 25-yard line. Mark Brunell, 5 of 13 for 75 yards and a touchdown in the first half. Brunell flips to his man out of the backfield, Taylor with a gain of about 2, maybe 3 yards on the play. Let's check in with Armin Catane. Armin.
Greg, as far as an update on the walking wounded of Jacksonville, I had to write all these down. There's so many of Mike Logan, a hip, is questionable. Rich Griffith, as you know, is out with a left knee injury. Chris Hudson, ankle, questionable. And Dave Thomas with a leg injury, questionable. I talked to Tom Coughlin. I asked him about the first half. He said, well, let's see. Terrell Davis, our defense isn't stopping anybody. We've got injuries. He goes, you name it. And I said, well, frankly, that pretty much covers it. Back to you.
All right, Armin. McCardle in motion on 2nd and 7. Brunell with the screen. Taylor with blockers in front of him. First down yardage out to the 40 before he's pulled down. And Trevor Price from his defensive tackle position tracking him down from behind.
Well, you're 17 points down against the Denver Broncos. You're the Jacksonville Jaguars. The game is not over. This defense is not a dominating defense. It's going to give you chances to make plays. Be a little patient. Don't try to take any chances early in the third quarter. Don't make the mistake that ends the game. And they started out getting a good first down. Try to get in rhythm. Throw some short passes. Screen plays are a good idea.
Boy, did you see Trevor Price come roaring from behind to pull Fred Taylor down. First down from the 41-yard line. Brunell, complete across midfield. Keegan Cardo with the reception. Before he's pushed back. That's an 11-yard pickup and another Jaguars first down. So Jacksonville comes out of the locker room with the right frame of mind.
Doing a good job. If they protect Mark Brunell well enough in the second half, he will have success throwing the football down the field. But if you're a wide receiver, you catch it somewhere in the middle. If Mark Brunell holds it for a while, be alert because those safeties for Denver are going to be running and they are going to get some blows on the receivers.
Jaguars quickly out of the huddle. This is a roll to the far side. Brunell on the run has Jimmy Smith, and he's out of bounds at about the 41-yard line of the Denver Broncos.
You know, so many things that this Jacksonville offense does with the quarterback and the receivers. I think they're very demanding. In other words, this time Mark Brunell is sprinting out to his left. He sees Jimmy Smith running away from him towards the sideline. He's going full speed, still makes the throw on target with speed to get the ball to the receiver.
2nd and 3. This one will stay on the ground. Taylor gets a couple. The running game has fallen back to Fred Taylor now after, well, the season began. James Stewart was the #1 running back. A knee injury has put him out for the season. Then Taylor went down after the hit on Monday night against Miami. Along came Tavian Banks, and Tavian Banks was injured last week against Buffalo. So Taylor's back in the spotlight.
That's right. Fred Taylor couldn't make the game last week. He stayed home in Jacksonville.
3rd and 1. Brunell gonna run for it. Dives for the first down.
Same play we saw down the goal line for the touchdown. When you get in those situations, get those tough yards, let a mobile quarterback get to the edge, give him the run-pass option. But watch Mark Brunell going to come towards us. Fake it. He's coming running. Hey, Denver, smart defense. They've seen to play once. So this time he does the other thing. Instead of throwing it, he runs and picks up the first down.
First down, Jacksonville now at the Denver 36. And Brunell going to throw it again. Far side has his man. That's Jimmy Smith. And Smith has enough for another first down. Penalty marker on the play. And it's going to come back. It's going to be against the Jaguars.
Hands to the face. Such a tough call against the offensive lineman.
Is that Damon Shelton in the backfield?
Illegal hands to the face. Offense, number 62. 10-yard penalty. It remains first down.
It's the left guard, Ben Coleman.
Left guard, Ben Coleman, number 62. Here he was. You can see he just put the hands to the face. So many times when these offensive linemen are delivering the blows, they hit them in the chest. The speed of the defensive lineman coming at them, the force, makes their hands go up, and they're going to get them entangled in the face mask.
I would like to caution you against any demonstrations here in the booth. 1st and 20 for the Jaguars. Forced out of the pocket, throws on the run and throws it away. Number 88 downfield was Damon Jones, one of his tight ends.
Well, this is one of the reasons why I think Jacksonville can get back in the game. If they do a good job, it's a blitz. Look at Denver. Everybody up the line of scrimmage. All the linebackers, Neil Smith running the game. They're going to blitz. They're going to take chances. If you pick it up, there's nobody back there that gives you a chance to complete the pass and run with it after you catch it.
And that snaps a string of 7 straight completions by Brunell. 2nd and 20 at the Denver 46. And Brunell calls timeout. 10:43 to play, 3rd quarter. 2nd and very long for the Jaguars when we come back.
Or somehow they got to find a way to get some points, but also going back to the first half, I think they should have called a timeout to not allow Denver to take that chance and kick that long field goal.
2nd and 20. Brunell, time this time. All kinds of time. Throws incomplete and pushed from behind. The penalty marker comes down. Steve Atwater gave Pete Mitchell a shove coming across the field, and that'll be an interference call against the Broncos.
He just figured it's time to hit somebody. He'd been chasing Pete Mitchell for about 8 seconds. It's time
Pass
for
interference. Defense, number 27. That's an automatic first down.
Steve Atwater gets a little antsy when he doesn't get to hit someone after a while anyway.
That's a good point, because this man likes to hit. But Steve Atwater, number 27. Pete Mitchell, number 83, is coming across the field. Look how long Mark Brunell has to throw the football. And just before it gets there, Atwater pushes Pete Mitchell from behind. That's a big break for Jacksonville. Automatic first down.
First down, Jaguars at the Bronco 37.
the bread and butter play of the Jacksonville offense. Single coverage outside, Mark Brunell. Tom Coughlin expects him to complete that pass every time.
That's backup quarterback Jamie Martin, number 10, on the sideline, listening in on the communications with Brunell. 2nd and 10. The pitch to Taylor. Taylor looking for room on the right side, and there is none. Mark Brunell, we said at the top of the show, was going to have all the pressure on his shoulders, and he had to have a good day throwing the football. The Bronco defense is making it a little difficult.
Well, it's a good offensive line Jacksonville has, but when this Denver defense, because of the pressure they put on you, the blitzes, and they know how to rush the passer too, when they get ahead, it's tough to block them on a consistent basis.
10th play of this Jacksonville drive, 3rd and 10. Play clock is at 2 and at 1, and he calls timeout before he gets hit with a 5-yard penalty. That is the 2nd timeout used by the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it stops the clock with 9:39 to play.
Proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. Oldsmobile in your local Oldsmobile dealer. And by Stanley. Whatever it is, wherever it is, make something great. Stanley.
Greg Gumbo, Phil Simms, Armin Katayan back at Mile High Stadium, and there you see the dilemma the Jaguars have been in on 3rd down. It is 3rd and long now.
That puts a lot of pressure on the quarterback, but mostly the offensive line trying to hold the defensive line out for that long.
Quick pass, near side, complete to McCardell, but he's going to be short of a 1st down. He got about half the yards that he needed, and now Mike Hollis and the rest of the field goal unit come onto the field.
This is probably the proper call. You need 3 points somewhere. Tom Coughlin, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they need points. Just get some points. Give your team some hope. So hopefully they'll make the 50-yard field goal.
You know, we've seen a 63-yarder. This one is almost a gimme.
It's a chip shot. That's right.
Hollis made one from 45. This one will be just a little bit longer than 50 yards. Kick is away, but it's wide. On the Denver side of the field, Mike Shanahan says, you know, I'd really rather not see him get another 3 points.
A company most people never heard of is changing the way we fight cancer and kidney failure by
So Tuesday on CBS. Nice uniforms. Nice football. 8:59 to play, 3rd quarter.
The tough thing about missing the field goal for Jacksonville, look where Denver starts from, their own 41.
McCaffrey in motion. And Elway goes right back to the air with time. Eludes the rush and now tries to get rid of it, and it's incomplete. Tony Brackens, number 90, in to put the hit on Elway.
Tony Brackens, 3rd game back from a high ankle injury he had during the preseason, and this is the guy with the front 4 of Jacksonville. They need for him to come through big. In passing situations, he's got to be able to put pressure on the quarterback, because when he does that, anytime a big guy is doing a good job up front, it lets all those little guys behind him have a chance to make some good plays.
Pressuring the quarterback, not an easy thing to do against the Broncos. Denver quarterbacks have been sacked only 8 times this season. Davis, right side, hit hard as he crossed the 40 and got up to about the 43-yard line by Brian Schwartz. And Terrell Davis continues his pursuit of 1,000 yards.
Well, I got to say, Jacksonville's doing a good job of containing. They've contained Terrell Davis today. But the problem is Denver came in with the passing attack, had everything loaded up to throw the ball down the field on this single coverage they're getting because Jacksonville's trying to stop the run.
You see there, Davis needs 67 to reach 1,000. 3rd and 9. Elway, McCaffrey, incomplete. Had it and dropped it.
Boy, what a by Aaron Beasley, cuts in front of him and sticks his hand up inside to knock the pass away. McCaffrey up, and the left hand, watch the left hand of Aaron Beasley. Comes through, perfect throw by John Elway. Before he goes to the ground, the hands come through, knock the pass down.
So Tom Rowan, you look at Beasley taking a breather on the side. Will kick it away to Reggie Barlow. High snap. Rowan gets it away. Takes a sideways bounce and rolls out of bounds at the 21-yard line. And that's where Mark Brunell and the Jaguars go to work with 7:59 to play in the third.
By Propecia. Talk to your doctor today.
We're just under 8 minutes to play in the third quarter at Mile High Stadium in Denver. The Jacksonville Jaguars looking to cut into a 27-10 Denver lead. First down from their own 21. Brunell with the handoff for Taylor. Taylor with room on the left side. 30, 35, 40, into the 45-yard line and across to maybe the 46. 25-yard pickup by Fred Taylor.
That is a good call by Jacksonville that time. Denver, look, everybody's going to look. They're thinking pass. The secondary is deep. It gives Fred Taylor a chance to get into it. He makes Steve Atwater miss, and then he picks up an extra 10 tough yards. Now Jacksonville is having a hard time getting players on the field.
And the play clock has been set back at 25 and has been restarted. First down from the 46, and Brunell will go back to the air. Quick drop, over the middle, overthrows Keenan McCardell, his intended receiver. For an NFL Today report, let's go to New York, and here's Jim Nance. Jim?
All right, Greg, for the first time this season, San Diego has 2 touchdowns in a game, and the Chargers have come from 14 down. Here's Natron Means getting it across to tie Seattle in the third quarter with 1:20 to go in the third. Back to you.
All right, Jim, those Chargers will be here at Mile High Stadium 2 weeks from today. You see that game, some of you here on CBS. 2nd and 10. Under the gun, the pass, Taylor, complete, midfield, 45, and you saw some of the speed that Fred Taylor had there, a little acceleration on the sideline.
Couple things I saw, the speed of Fred Taylor and also Mark Brunell under pressure right away. John Mobley, number 51, up the middle, nobody touches him. Good reaction by Mark Brunell. Knows it's not going to be picked up, looks for the back quick. Fred Taylor picks it up, and then he makes something happen with it after he gets the ball.
So Taylor trying to dispel any doubts about his shoulder injury. First down from the Denver 41. Far side, complete to Jimmy Smith, out of bounds and knocked out of bounds by Atwater.
Boy, that's a matchup that Jacksonville loves. Steve Atwater caught deep on the outside trying to cover Jimmy Smith one-on-one. Mark Brunell throws it out there. That's an easy completion.
That's 13 yards and another Jacksonville first down. Exactly what they need this time of day.
Well, they got to see these kind of things, and Mark Brunell throws a good ball to the sideline. Again, look at the separation. Steve Atwater way off the receiver.
Good job by Jimmy Smith getting feet down. The handoff to Taylor, looking for running room up the middle and finds none. Alfred Williams, number 91, fell on him as he fell to the turf. We're talking with Alfred Williams and asking him if Tony Baselli was the best tackle that he's ever seen, and he said no.
Anthony Munoz was he thought the best he's ever played against. He thought Gary Zimmerman was the best pass blocker he'd ever seen. He thought Baselli the best run blocker he's ever played against.
Alfred played 4 years in Cincinnati, so he knows all about Anthony Munoz. 2nd and 13. Brunell, quick pass, complete to tight end Damon Jones. Jones breaks free, 5, touchdown! 31 yards and the Jaguars strike.
Wow, Damon Jones looked like the big version of Terrell Davis after he got a hold of the football. I mean, watch number 88. It's just a quick pass. It's a blitz. Steve Atwater comes free. Throw the hot route to Damon Jones. And look at him just barrel through the players. Eric Brown, no chance of bringing the big tight end down.
Damon Jones is 6'5" and goes about 270. Arm tackling isn't going to get it done against number 88. Holland to try for the extra point. And it's good. No quit in the Jaguars this afternoon. 5:25 to play in the third quarter, and the 31-yard Brunell to Jones connection cuts the Broncos' lead to 10. We're coming back to Mile High Stadium right after this.
My dad always.
He gets the ball to him. If you're going to blitz on defense, the one thing you've got to do, you've got to make tackles once the receiver catches it. They didn't that time. Makes an easy touchdown for Damon Jones.
Vaughn Hebron from the 5. Outside running room. The 30. Cuts back inside the 40 and out to the 43-yard line. And Hebron gives the Broncos room to breathe with a 38-yard return. Once again, it's Ted Danson as you've never seen him before. He's back as a not-so-politically correct doctor who's not afraid to speak his mind. Becker premieres Monday, November the 2nd right here on CBS. What Ted Danson may be afraid of is standing a little too close to the action downstairs.
Well, he got his first time he was down the sideline watching the game. He was up here at halftime. I said, "What'd you think?" And he goes, "Wow." And then what happened?
He said the water boy ran by and scared the heck out of him. First down from the 44, and John Elway gives to Terrell Davis, and the defense converges on Davis and holds him to a yard. You know, we're talking about the Jaguars wanted to contain Terrell Davis, and then during a break, you and I began to get a little discussion. Well, what is containing Terrell Davis? What are you happy with?
I'd say if you keep him under 110 or 115 yards, that is acceptable almost. But once he starts getting up to there about 150, in most of the games this year he's gone over that, then you have no chance of beating the Denver Broncos, because that brings every play in their playbook into play. They can do anything they want.
Elway with time, wide open, McCaffrey. And he's brought down inside the 35-yard line. Travis Davis with the tackle.
Well, that's what they call a blitz zone. Jacksonville blitzed a few extra people. They play a zone, and there are holes in it. Behind, you can see how big they are. Ed McCaffrey, nobody around him. He makes the catch, then he finds that contact. Watch Elway. He does a good job of stepping up, buying an extra second, finding his big receiver across the middle. And Ed McCaffrey holds on to the football once he's hit.
By the way, Terrell Davis picked up one of those blitzers to give Elway time to throw. Moving to the right now, Elway throws over the middle. Rod Smith is there, and that's close to another first down.
See, that's a victory for Jacksonville right there. Once you let John Elway get out of the pocket and get near the sidelines, I didn't even look at anybody for 10 yards. I was looking in the end zone, too, who was going to make the move to get open for the touchdown. They held it to about a 10-yard completion. That's a pretty good job once he breaks containment.
McCaffrey comes back into the lineup as they measure for a first down. And it looks to be less than a half a yard. You know, here Jacksonville gets the big play, the 31-yard pass-run combination with Damon Jones. They pull to within 10, but then look what happens. Vaughn Hebron with a big return out into the 40s, gives John Elway position. He hits a couple of big plays, and now they're at the 20-yard line.
Well, that's the killer. The special teams, letting them return the ball to the 40-yard line. You know, you'd like to think, hey, you're trying to get back in the game. My guys are psyched up. Can't we tackle them inside the 20? But no, it doesn't happen. Then it just makes it so much easier play calling for the Denver Broncos.
2nd and 1. Does John Elway take a shot at the end zone?
Well, it's, you know, with the defense, you got to play safe because you think they might take a shot.
Davis, first down. Kelvin Pritchard fortunate with the tackle, but number 30 gaining critical yardage again for the Denver Broncos.
You know, it was interesting. We did get to talk to John Yurkovich yesterday, and he was talking about Terrell Davis and says nothing but great things about him, all the good things. He says, what we've got to do, we've got to stay, be disciplined, and hit him, and keep hitting him. And when you get a chance to fall in that pile and hit him on the edges, you do it. Just keep hitting. Somehow, try to wear this guy out, so every once in a while he wants to go to the sideline and take a break.
First down, Broncos at the 19. Elway going for McCaffrey. Incomplete. Elway hit the deck.
You know, the Jacksonville got to take some chances. They blitz. Watch Terrell Davis. He sees it coming. He steps up in there, delivers the blow on Bryce Pop. And boy, what a play by Bryce Pop. Keeps his feet. And John Elway saw him coming, so it made him a little queasy, jumping back, and wasn't able to throw a good pass. Queasy.
Queasy?
Yeah.
From that sitcom?
That's all I could think of. Okay. Yeah, that was.
2nd and 10. Davis, left side, across the 15 to about the 13.
Well, what a luxury to have. 2nd and 10. Kind of a tough call for a lot of offenses, but Denver, they say, no, let's just plow Terrell up in there for about 5, 6, 7 yards. And then it makes it so much easier, play calling, makes it so much easier for the players to pick up those 3rd and 5 or less.
You see the numbers on Terrell. The first 10 carries of the day, Davis gathered 55 yards. In his last 11 carries, he's managed just 22. 2 minutes to play, 3rd quarter, 3rd and 4. And Elway wants timeout. That is Denver's first timeout burned here in the 2nd half.
Good job by John Elway. The play clock is going down. Jacksonville is going to send them all. He knew he didn't have time to change the play, so he calls the timeout.
You know, we were talking with Tom Coughlin yesterday as you see John Elway meeting on the sideline. There's Tom Coughlin. We asked him, you know, well, how disappointed are you in the work last weekend? And he said he thought that it was a golden opportunity that just went by the boards. And, you know, he taught Doug Flutie a lot of what he knows, and to be beaten by Doug Flutie, Tom may have only had himself to blame.
Oh, well, he even said, he goes, come on, last play of the game. That's all he could think of is Doug Flutie running around to the outside. But as we found out, Doug Flutie was running because it was a busted play. But he says the guy is amazing, Doug Flutie. He can make plays under any circumstances, and we saw that last week.
Meanwhile, the Jaguars trying to reestablish themselves now as one of the premier teams, suffering their first loss of the season last week. 3rd and 4 for the Broncos. 5 wide receivers. Elway out of the shotgun. Movement on the offensive line. Penalty markers down. Elway spins out of trouble. Another penalty marker flies in the backfield and batted out of bounds. Tony Bracken's got a hand on the football. 3 penalty markers on the field. Let's check.
Well, we heard the hard count. We know that Jacksonville jumped off sides.
Looked like that would have been number 75, Eric Curry, but then another call or another penalty in a holding against the Broncos. That's the one that flew into the play late.
Offside defense in the right end. Holding offense number 69. He's offset. Replay. 3rd down.
Looked like Eric Curry, 75, was offside. Nope.
Well, Tony Brackens. Watch John Elway call and I'll say this. Ho! It hurts my throat just to watch him.
And then the holding penalty was on Mark Schlereth.
But anybody that plays Denver, Jacksonville, I promise you this past week, whoever was trying to imitate John Elway on the show team or the scout team, they were doing those hard counts all week long, trying to get the defense ready for it.
Denver, 5 out of 10 on 3rd down today. John Yurkovich back into the middle of the defensive line. Quick drop, Elway, this side, complete. Rod Smith out of bounds. And that's enough for a Denver first down.
Well, that's just a tough play. We've seen it. I think this is the 4th time today we've seen it. In 3rd down situations, they've caught it all 4 times. One time, Rod Smith fumbled as he hit the ground. They called it incompletion, but a tough play to stop for the Jacksonville Jaguar defense.
First and goal from the 7. Elway with all kinds of time. Throws complete to Howard Griffith, and Griffith inside the 5. Donovan Darius, the rookie, in on the stop.
Terrell Davis, number 30, play action. Let's fake it to him. Let's get John Elway outside and look at this. Tony Bracken's coming free, and Terrell Davis takes him to the ground.
Terrell doesn't just run the football.
Let me tell you, if he didn't do that, he would have heard about it in the meetings. This team is unselfish. Everybody works for everybody else. That's why everybody contributes, and they have such great success.
Second and goal from the 3. Davis. And moves the pile about a yard. .50 seconds to play now here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, I guess I don't have to say it, that this is pretty important that Jacksonville holds them somehow, makes them kick a field goal. The big problem is, what do you play defense for? Do you play defense for the run up inside, the pass, the fake, Elway going outside?
3rd and goal from the 1. Throws, and it's batted down. Bryce Pop, the man in on John Elway, and knocked it down. And now, do the Broncos go for it?
Yes.
They do.
Boy, it took Mike Shanahan a long time to think what he was going to do. Stay in there. We're going for it. And why? He wants to win the game right now. Let's get the game over with. Let's call a play. Let's get this lead back up to 17 points. And if you don't make it, look where you leave the Jacksonville offense on the 1-yard line.
Here's a look at Bryce Pop. 3 tight ends into the game for the Broncos. Sharp, Carswell, Chamberlain. And now Elway calls a timeout, and that's Denver's 2nd here in the 2nd half.
I don't know what happened, but as John Elway was walking to the line of scrimmage, I could see Mike Shanahan, Gary Kubiak, the Denver coaches calling timeout. They didn't like what came out the lineup for the Jacksonville defense. Vic Duran, the defensive coordinator.
Well, there is no question that this is an important defensive stand for the Jaguars. Their opponents are 4 of 5 on 4th down this season. Denver is 0 for 1 on the year. All of which means absolutely nothing right now.
Well, I'm sitting here thinking, well, what is Denver going to call? And, you know, I'm a know-it-all. I think I know it all. And I got no idea. Because, again, there's so many possibilities.
Well, if you've got Terrell Davis in your backfield,
I give it to him.
Or it's a heck of a good idea to fake it to him.
Well, they tried that last time. Now they're going to lead blocker. I think you give it to him, make him stop it on the run.
Davis. Did he get there? No. No touchdown call, and Jacksonville takes over at the goal line.
Well, they go with the play that they kind of started. They scored a touchdown earlier with this. The fullback goes right. The tailback goes left. This time the Jacksonville defense, what penetration by the defensive line. Eric Curry, number 75 back there. Ronaldo Wynn, 97, pushing the pile. Jurkovich down at the bottom, just creating a mess. That's what stops it.
Yurko, the space eater.
Boy, that's what he did. What a job. He got down low, turned his body, made the offensive lineman get in the way of the runner.
Brunell, the throw out of his end zone. Rolling, and finally throws it away. Neil Smith with the pressure on Brunell in the end zone. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, it's a good thing they got this new rule. Once you break contain, the quarterback can throw it away. Neil Smith, once the quarterback comes out, he gets away from the blocker, makes Mark Brunell throw the ball away.
Listen to the Denver crowd. Brunell throws, intended for Mitchell, overthrew it. And that brings us to the end of the third quarter. That's 3 quarters played here at Mile High. The Broncos 27, the Jaguars 17. We'll come back to Denver after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. There's extra people in the end zone, Phil.
Yeah, the Jacksonville offense is going and looking at the cheerleaders. I don't think they quite appreciate those cheerleaders right now.
No. Mark Brunell is looking for a room to huddle up. The crowd knows the Bronco defense is looking at 3rd and 10. Quick slant, Jimmy Smith out to about the 9, and that's short of a first down. For a team that doesn't run slants, that's the second one we've seen today. But it'll bring the punting unit onto the field.
Well, it was a good call, a good throw and catch. But Torrey James, number 20 for the Broncos, I think made a really important tackle there, stopped them from getting the first down.
Brian Barker will get this kick away in his end zone. Rod Smith is deep for the Broncos, and this one is way out of bounds. This one bounced into the seats. And it didn't reach midfield, so once again, the Broncos with terrific field position when we come back. 27-yard punt for Barker. Generally considered the best tackle in all of football, Tony Baselli having his right leg taped on the sideline. As the Broncos go to work in great field position. You see the average starting position. The Broncos have had it all their own way today. Terrell Davis, left side, breaks free, 30, 25, 20, 15. Touchdown! What a run by Terrell Davis.
Tom Coughlin told us yesterday, look, let's contain him. But what worries him about Terrell Davis is that he'll jump out there and get those 50 and 60-yarders on you. This wasn't 60 yards, but it was a backbreaker for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
37 yards.
And once again, he ran through tackles.
Jason Elam to add the extra point. The kick is good. 34-17, and that man, Terrell Davis, is now 20 yards from reaching 1,000 yards for the season. 24 carries, 115 yards, and 3 touchdowns tonight.
With solid form design, it's excitement well built from Pontiac. First Union, your guide to the financial world. And by Intel. Make sure your computer has Intel inside.
Jason Elam to kick it away for the Broncos. Barlow and Whitted are deep, and this is Barlow from the 3. 20, 30. And across the 35, and a nice return by Reggie Barlow. Let's go back to the Terrell Davis touchdown.
Well, it takes everybody in the team to make a running game be great, and that's what the Broncos do. Tony Jones, the left tackle, he seals it inside. Howard Griffin going up the field, finds the line. Travis Davis the block. Ed McCaffrey down the field, blocking Dion Figures, and the tight end Shannon Sharp, noted for his receiving. He kicks out Bryce Pop, opens up the hole, lets the fullback lead through. Hey, that's why Terrell Davis presented watches to linemen, tight end, wide receivers, and Howard Griffin yesterday. They all help in the running game.
Howard Griffin, incidentally, hobbled off the field. Limping off the field slowly, and we'll check on his progress. 10 for the Jacksonville Jaguars from the 36. Brunell under the gun and goes down. Brought down by Trevor Price. Third sack of the day. For those of you expecting to see 60 Minutes, you are watching the NFL on CBS and the game between Jacksonville and Denver. I'm Greg Gumbel along with Phil Simms and Armin Katayan. The Broncos with a 34-17 lead on the Jaguars. We remind you 60 Minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast and the Mountain Time Zone. Jacksonville, 2nd and 20. Brunell pulls it down again and goes down for the 4th time today.
Well, this is what separates, I think, the Denver Broncos from most teams in this league. When they get you down, they go for the kill. Ray Crockett, number 39. Bill Romanowski, they're coming on the blitz. They're not going to give Jacksonville a chance to get back in the game. They want to end it right now.
Offensively, as usual, the Broncos have been led by Terrell Davis, who has 115 yards, and Ray Crockett is on the ground.
You know, Greg, we did the Broncos a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about the Broncos don't try to win the game. They try to blow you out. They will, you know, they like for the game to be over before the 4th quarter comes around. Most of the time this year, that has been the case. Today, well, it was somewhat in doubt.
If you've just joined us, Terrell Davis came through with another spectacular run just a few moments ago.
Well, Jacksonville did a pretty good job all day trying to contain him, but as Tom Coughlin says, it's that you never know when this guy's going to break out and take it 60 yards on you. Just finds the hole, breaks the tackles, good balance, the best running back in football right now.
Davis began this day needing 135 yards to become the 3rd man in NFL history to reach 1,000 in his first 7 games of the season. He has 115 now. He's 20 yards shy. And, you know, Mike Shanahan is not one who's out there for individual records. If he thinks it's best for Terrell Davis to sit down for the rest of the day, he'll do that.
Oh, he will. And so Terrell Davis will agree right along with him. And they've done that a couple times this year. You know, they're playing smart. These records mean nothing. People only take notice of them when you win Super Bowls.
Ray Crockett leaves the game. Tito Paul replaces him on the corner for the Broncos. 3rd and 25. Down the middle. Complete at about the 46-yard line, and this will be close to a first down. Keenan McCardle with the reception.
Nice throw and catch. Mark Brunell, only place he could throw it, hard and low and to the inside. He does it. McCardell gets down, makes sure he gets both arms underneath it and makes the catch.
And we'll have a measurement for the first down. I mean, not a bad pitch and catch on 3rd and 25.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty limited space in your playbook, those 3rd and 25s. Well, no matter what, they get it.
First down.
Of course, if it was short, they were going to go for it anyway because they need 3 scores to get back in the game. But hey, the first thing you got to say, the offensive line gives him time to look down the field and look at this throw. Perfect spot for the pass.
Jacksonville first down now at their own 46. Going to go down the sideline for Smith, and he's got it out of bounds inside the 25-yard line. And back come the Jaguars.
Well, what can you say? The perfect throw, no matter what the coverage is, it's high to the outside shoulder of the wide receiver. Jimmy Smith does a good job, gets his feet in bounds before they can push him out.
First down at the 23. Goes the other way. Pete Mitchell with the reception inside the 15, and that may be enough for another Jacksonville first down. John Mobley covering him and bringing him down after an 11-yard pickup.
12:20 to go in the 4th quarter. They're doing the right thing. Hurry up offense. Don't let the Denver defense get a chance to huddle and figure out what they want to do.
Brunell looks this way again. He's got complete to Keenan McCardell, who is inside the 5.
I could hear that ball from up here hit Keenan McCardell's chest.
Torrey James, number 20, the third-year cornerback with the tackle.
What this does, going in hurry-up offense, it tires out the defensive line of the Denver Broncos.
He gives to Shelton. Shelton up the middle. Did he get to the end zone? No. He comes up shy of the goal line.
But he gets a first down.
That's a 3-yard pickup and first down for the Jaguars. It'll be first and goal from the 1. And now, number 95, Marvin Washington, slow to get up. And that stops the clock with 11:19 to play here in the 4th.
Well, quite a few plays, ran in a hurry, looked like he had a cramp in the leg the way he was trying to stretch it out. But also, this is a ploy you can use. If it gets a little confusing, you don't want to take that time out. You want to slow the offense down. Hey, it's one of the players, you got to take a knee. You got to do it for the team.
Shanahan looking at his options.
Well, I think what's important for Jacksonville, 1-yard line, 11:19 to go in the 4th quarter. You need to get this ball in the end. You'd like to get it in the first play just to keep preserving time, because you're going to need 2 more possessions after this one just to get a chance to win the game or maybe tie it up. So it's important you be efficient, take advantage of situations when they're there, and here at the 1-yard line, try to get it on the first play. Don't take 2 or 3.
Denver knocked off New England opening day 27-21, then beat Dallas, Oakland, Washington, Philadelphia, and Seattle before they reached their bye week last week. And as Brunell and the Jaguars break the huddle, they're looking at the 8th play of this drive. First and goal. Taylor didn't get there. Keith Traylor, Trevor Price, the interior of the Denver line.
That's almost the exact same play we saw Denver run down the goal line, 4th and 1. Look, the fullback goes one way, the halfback goes the other. Keith Traylor does a good job, gets in the backfield, looks up the runner, knocks him down for a loss.
Second and goal from the 2. Brunell has it, throws, touchdown, Pete Mitchell. Brunell with the touchdown pass, and Jacksonville with the extra point can move to within 10.
Well, when you get in these situations, it's so tough on the defense. Look at the ball fake up inside. It freezes the defenders just for a split second, and watch Pete Mitchell. He fakes the block, runs into the back of the end zone. Good call by Jacksonville.
3 touchdown passes on the day for Mark Brunell. And Hollis looks for point number 24. And he's got it. So the clock is stopped on the field with 10:35 to play here in the 4th quarter. Jacksonville comes back. It's 34-24. Denver. Remaining 10:35 to play here in the 4th quarter. And Vaughn Hebron is deep for the Broncos. Hebron from the 3. 15, 20. And brought down at about the 24-yard line by Zach Crockett. Just a reminder, tonight on CBS, you were always taught that the Indians were the first people to inhabit America, but a 9,000-year-old skeleton found in Washington State could change all that. 60 Minutes reports. Then it's Touched by an Angel, followed by the CBS Sunday movie Beauty, starring Janine Turner and Jamie Sheridan in a modern version of Beauty and the Beast. It's all coming up tonight, right here on CBS. Big defensive stand coming up here for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Detron Smith in the backfield replacing Howard Griffith. Davis. Hole left side across the 30 to about the 31. 7-yard pickup for Davis as he slowly works his way to 1,000 yards on the season.
this is where you find out. Well, we already know Denver's got a great running game, but this is where you find out, can you just line up? They know we're going to run it. They want to take some time off the clock. We still have 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And it's first down, you run it up in there and you get 7 yards.
2nd and 3. Elway going to throw it. In the flat. Complete to Davis. Davis. First down and more before he's bumped out of bounds across the 40-yard line. Deion Figures was there for the push.
The Broncos keeping Jacksonville off guard. 2nd and 3. You think, well, it's got to be a run. I thought it would be. He drops back. Terrell Davis swings out of the backfield. Nobody there to account for him.
122 yards on the day. 13 yards shy of 1,000 in this, his 7th game of the season. Elway going to throw it. What a bullet to Shannon Sharp. Sharp and the tackler bounce off and runs for first down yardage across midfield.
Well, you said it right, Greg. John Elway, first off, throws a bullet. Again, you think pass. Shannon Sharp goes across the formation. Nobody there. Travis Davis comes up for the tackle, but Shannon Sharp, Travis Davis found out. He's big and he's strong.
Wide receivers with 8 catches, tight ends 5, running back 6. John Elway is not particularly choosy.
Well, that's the thing. Tom Coughlin, he said, what makes it so tough to defend this team? They spread it to everybody.
First down from the Jacksonville 48, and Elway going to throw again. Into the flat, complete, 40, 35, Terrell Davis. 12-yard pickup and another first down, and back come the Broncos.
Well, see, last week was the off week for the Denver Broncos. Terrell Davis got all rested up, so he said, hey, Terrell, since you're rested up, we're going to run you, and this week we're going to throw the ball to you too. John Elway pumps it down the field, freezes that defense, and Terrell Davis making people miss again. It stays in bounds, keeps the clock moving.
Coming up on 8:15 to play here in the fourth quarter. First down from the 34. Davis cuts it back across the 30 and down to the 29-yard line. Ronaldo wins, Travis Davis with the tackle. And Davis continues to creep up on the record books.
Well, that's the play you see so much. He starts to swing it outside. And what we understand, you talk to the Broncos and the Jacksonville Jaguars, what he looks for out of the corner of his eye, if somebody gets cut down the backside, he sees it, and that immediately triggers him to stop, get it back up in the line of scrimmage, because once you get cut as a defensive player, you cannot reach up with your arms and tackle Terrell Davis.
Davis taking a breather on the sideline. Derek Lavelle. Lavelle across the 25 down to about the 22-yard line. And that's another Denver first down. Tom Coughlin just trying to find an answer.
Well, what do? I mean, you know what you got to do. The defense, they got to be psyched up. Hey, the offense has got us back in the game. They score a touchdown. They go down the field. The defense is all ready to go, and they come out, and Denver just pounds it right down the field, eats up the clock.
Defensive coordinator Dick Duran looking for answers on the side. Elway has his man. That is complete at the 14-yard line to Rod Smith.
And you know what good play calling it is too, Greg. As you sit here and you watch, you're thinking run, and what that does to the defense, they're thinking run, so they're not ready to rush the passer. So John Elway drops back, has all the time he wants, clear lanes to throw in, makes the completions outside really very easy for him.
Terrell Davis comes back onto the field needing 8 yards for 1,000. He has 202 total yards today. Second and 3. Davis. Some of the tougher ones he's gotten today.
Well, he told us on Friday he knew this was going to be a tough day, a lot of hard hitting. He said it was very important for him to make sure when he ran the ball up in there that once he gets hit, to make sure he kind of wiggles for that extra 1 or 2 yards.
You know, Shannon Sharp reinforced what you said earlier, Phil, about he's got a terrific attitude. The coaches will say, you know, I think you should do this. And then most superstars might say, no, I'll do it the way I want to do it. And he'll go, yes, sir, and he'll do it.
And look where Terrell Davis runs. Today, a lot of attempts up the middle. Big success to the left, though.
33, Elway with time, throws near side, and throws it out of bounds. And now Jason Elam will come onto the field. Those of you just joining us, speaking a little bit of history, Jason Elam grabbed a chunk of it at the end of the first half, kicking an NFL record-tying 63-yard field goal as time expired.
And it didn't just creep over the crossbar, it went flying over it.
He's made them from 31 and 53. This is a 32-yard field goal attempt. And it's good. After the touchdown, the Broncos march right back down and put 3 more on the board and lead it 37-24. Back at Mile High Stadium, 5:21 to play here in the fourth quarter, and Jason Elam to kick it away for the Broncos to the Jaguars, who are looking for some big plays and some big plays in a hurry now. This is Barlow. 20. Comes outside, can't reach the 25 before he is dragged down by Eric Brown, the rookie out of Mississippi State. There is Jason Elam. We told you a few moments ago about his record-tying event at the end of the first half. Here it is. And take a listen. 63 yards just like that. Mike Shanahan says, boy, do I know when to go for those long ones or don't I?
Oh, I tell you, Jason Elam, he knew that it was a record-tying field goal because when he kicked it, he went sprinting for the end zone looking for that football.
Brunell from the shotgun. Down the far side, incomplete. Keenan McCardell over there. We remind you, coming up next, except for viewers on the West Coast, 60 Minutes. 37-24 Jacksonville. Those scores represent the most points given up by either defense this season.
Well, 13 points, of course. Jacksonville, 2 touchdowns. That would be enough to win. The question is, 5:04, do you have enough time to do it? So you got to look for plays down the field every chance you get.
Brunell on 2nd and 10. Another slant to Jimmy Smith. Jaguars will go without the huddle.
Go with the no huddle. You can pick up a first down or 2. That tires the defense out. It will make it easier for the offense as you move down the field.
3rd and 2. Brunell pulls it down, going to run with it. And a penalty marker flies as Brunell slides for the first down, but we'll see. It's a holding call against the Jaguars.
Offense, number 76. 10 yards. It remains 3rd down.
That's Rich Tilsky.
And what that does for Jacksonville now, it's going to put them in a 3rd and 12 situation. You're going to go for it, so you don't have to look for all the yards in this play. If it's not there, make sure you pick up a few positive yards to make it easier on 4th down to pick it up if you have to.
A lot of penalties, both sides today. 3rd and 12. Jaguars have had much more to accomplish on 3rd down today than the Broncos have.
Here they come.
Brunell gets rid of it, has his man, 1st down yardage. Keenan McCardell with a terrific catch just across the 35.
Boy, Denver sent everybody on defense. Mark Brunell, what a job of just hanging in there, waiting for Keenan McCardell to open up down the field.
Clock continues to run, coming up on 4 minutes to play. Brunell, far side. McCardell, did he get it down inbounds? He did. That's a completion and another first down.
You know, Greg, if it doesn't sound as loud as it should be, it's because a lot of the fans, they think the game is over, so they've left. They can't be a factor in the calling of the plays by the Jacksonville offense.
Well, the fans are not agreeing with the call that McCardell got the feet down inbounds. First down, now at the Denver 48. Play clock is at 3. And they get it off in time. Brunell over the middle. Incomplete. Intended for Pete Mitchell and batted away by Tyrone Braxton. For an NFL Today report, Jim Nance.
All right, Greg and Phil. Well, last week Jeff Jager beat the Cowboys in the closing seconds. Today, from 33 yards out, he knocks out Tennessee with a game-winning field goal. Hey, they've won 3 out of the last 4. Back to you.
All right, Jim. You know, there has been no quit in those Chicago Bears this year either.
They've played everybody tough all year long.
Second and 10. Brunell has a man near side. And inside the 40, down to the 38, losing the football was McCardell, picked up by Braxton. And that is ruled a fumble. The officials convene.
Yeah, we're going to have a conference over this. Somebody from across the field could have seen it. I could not tell if his knee was down. I see somebody pointing saying he was down.
Then where was the whistle? Well, Phil Luckett has consulted just about every official on the field.
Ruling on the field. No fumble, down by contact. Jacksonville ball.
Jaguars catch a break.
Let's see if he's down.
I don't think so.
Nope, I thought he came out just before he went down, but Tom Coughlin immediately started screaming. Here he goes. Watch the knee if it hits. The ball is out. The knee hits. It's a fumble.
To be fair, Tom Coughlin has a rooting interest.
Well, that's right. And we had to watch it in super slow motion.
Clock moves, 3:45 to play. First down, Jacksonville at the 38. The blitz. Hit hard on the near side. Keenan McCardell, who pulled it in. Torrey James is the man who came up and made the hit.
Hey, it was an impressive hit, but the most impressive thing, Keenan McCardell hung on to the football.
Jaguars without a huddle, 2nd and 5. Brunell goes down. And a penalty marker is down on the near side of the field.
There was no play. Prior to the snap, false start. Offense number 82. 5 yards. It remains 2nd down.
That was Jimmy Smith.
Well, that was good. Jacksonville got another break. No matter what, those defensive linemen, they didn't know the ball had been blown dead. Neither did the offensive lineman. Mark Brunell was going to be taken down for a sack.
The 119 yards passing by the Jaguars last week represented their lowest passing yardage total since the very first game of their very first year of existence. Today, Brunell has thrown for 308 yards. Tom Coughlin promised it was going to open up again today.
I think the thing that really disappointed them last week, we've seen it today, when you throw the football, even if they're short passes, somebody's got to take it and every once in a while run with it and make some big plays with it.
Now we're going to have a stoppage as Tom Coughlin is pointing at a discrepancy somewhere.
3:12. 3:12 on the clock.
3 more seconds putting on the clock. I believe the officials have convened about as many meetings as it took to get those Mideast peace talks done.
There's been a few.
Blitz. Brunell skips away from one. Looking, throwing downfield. McCardell incomplete. Steve Atwater, Torrey James were there with McCardell when the ball came down. .304 remaining here in the fourth. A lot of time.
A lot of time, no reason to hurry. 3rd and 12, you got 2 downs to pick it up.
Brunell sacked by Harold Hasselbeck. 5th time today, Brunell has been sacked. And the Jaguars use their final timeout.
Harold Hasselbeck, number 96, just does a good job. Jacksonville blows the pickup. They don't know who to pick up. Harold Hasselbeck, number 96. He comes free. Nobody blocks him. And he makes sure of the tackle on Mark Brunell. And Tom Coughlin, he knows they came with one player blitzing. They should have picked it up. They should have provided Mark Brunell time to throw the football down the field.
Harold Hasselbeck at 6'6", 285, must have looked like a tower coming in on Mark Brunell.
Well, even as fast as Mark Brunell is, when somebody like that's coming in, you just have to do the smart thing and go down with the football.
We told you earlier, the Broncos quarterbacks have been sacked 8 times. That is the fewest, along with the Dallas Cowboys in the NFL. So now it's 4th down and 23, and there's the kind of pressure Mark Brunell has seen here in Denver today.
Well, when you're playing from behind basically the whole day, those numbers, that's about what they should be. When you're playing a defense like Denver's, blitzes, and has a few good pass rushers, they're going to get to the quarterback in these situations.
As you see, 2:59 on the clock. 4th and 23 for a Jacksonville first down. They need to go to the Denver 28.
You need to give the quarterback a little extra time. A couple ways to do that. One way, have Mark Brunell stand there and then sprint one way or the other, right or left, to buy himself that extra time to let the receivers get down the field to pick up a first down on 4th and 23.
Looks like a 3-man rush for the Broncos. Brunell on the run, throws out of bounds. Ray Crockett making the dive for the football, but the ball will go over on downs to the Broncos.
Boy, that was a tremendous effort by the Denver defensive lineman. Only 3 guys out there rushing the passer, and they force him out of the pocket. And Mark Brunell doesn't even have a chance to find the receiver down the field to throw the football at. Good job by Neil Smith, breaking a double team, getting in there and making Mark Brunell run out.
So it's the Broncos taking over at the Jacksonville 49. And the give is to Davis. Davis with a couple. Clock continues to run at 2:40. He needs 6 yards for 1,000.
Well, they're going to have to run one more play before the 2-minute 2-minute break.
And those of you who have been watching that game between Seattle and San Diego, welcome to Mile High Stadium. We are coming up on 2 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. The Broncos leading Jacksonville 37-24. The handoff is Terrell Davis, and Davis across the 45. He is approaching 1,000 yards for the season. We'll tell you all about that as we take time out. We remind you, coming up tonight, 60 Minutes, followed by Touched by an Angel, and then the CBS Sunday movie, Beauty. The Jacksonville Jaguars had not allowed a 100-yard rusher in the last 18 games. Terrell Davis has rushed for 132 yards and needs 3 to reach 1,000. 3rd and 6 from the 45. Davis, he's got it. Across the 40 to the 39-yard line and close to a Denver first down. And they'll measure for it. But for Terrell Davis, only the 3rd running back ever to reach 1,000 yards in his first 7 games. Jim Brown did it in 1958. O.J. Simpson did it in 73 and 75. Terrell Davis joins a very elite group. The Broncos are short of a first down. Short of a first down. And it's 4th down for the Broncos.
I think Terrell Davis, he's up there. He's looking for that football on that carry, and they're going to take it out of the game right now. Wait. They're going to give it to him. They're going to bring it back in. There you go.
Well, he can't keep it on the field.
Well, that's a great accomplishment. Only done by 2 other people, and that's a souvenir worth keeping.
You know, we talked at the top of the day, Phil, about whether or not the NFL, the rest of the league, was going to find any hope through the Jacksonville Jaguars of how you can stop Terrell Davis and the Broncos.
I don't think you can stop their offense. I think this offense, even if your defense plays a really solid game and even gets breaks, they're going to score in the 20s. A team that has a somewhat decent defense that can keep the scoring somewhere down there, and a good solid offense. Jacksonville has that, but you can see, even with some breaks, even stopping Denver on the 1-yard line, Denver still got 37 points.
Consider this. In over 418 minutes of football this season, Denver has trailed less than 4.5 minutes. Let's check in with Jim Nance in New York. Jim.
All right, it's over in San Diego. The Chargers had 3 shots from the 3-yard line to send this game to overtime. The last one, his time expired. Ryan Leaf incomplete to Charlie Jones, and Seattle survives to go 4-3 on the year. Let's go back to Greg and Phil.
All right, Jim, as you take a look at Terrell Davis, MVP of the Super Bowl, and has done nothing here today to diminish that.
Well, he's done everything. I mean, we've seen it today. He's ran the ball well. He's caught the ball in screen passes, does a good job with that. But really, I thought the most impressive thing, picking up the blitzers for his quarterback, John Elway.
4th and 1. Davis may not have gotten the first down. Brian Schwartz.
I don't know. It was a pretty good spot.
Well, I said may. And are we going to get another measurement?
We'll let you tell us. Did he make it or not? I think you're 0 for 4 for the year.
Yes, I don't believe he did. How's that? This in light of the fact that you said he got a pretty good spot.
Yeah, he did. I think he made it. Oh, I'm right again.
Oh!
No, I'm not. I spoke too soon.
Don't you hate when that happens?
I was getting ready to crow and be a sore winner. Now I'll try to be a gracious loser.
Impossible. First down for Jacksonville. 1:14 on the clock, and they'll take over at their own 39-yard line.
Well, you know, Jacksonville, they're going, well, 13 down. It's not over. Let's somehow get down there and score a touchdown. Onside kick it, throw one in the end zone. You never know.
Jacksonville is out of timeouts. So are the Denver Broncos. Brunell over the middle. Damon Shelton complete and brought down at about the 44. Clock continues to move toward 1 minute to play. Second and 4. Brunell pump fakes and has no time to get rid of it. Romanowski in on him. The 6th time tonight that Brunell has been sacked.
Well, this late in the game, Denver says to heck with this. Again, we've said it so much today. They've done it all season. Don't wait. Don't sit back. Let the team attack you. They attack Bill Romanowski on the blitz. Takes away any chance Jacksonville has of winning the football game.
And that's Neil Smith, slow to get off the grass. And it stops the clock with 37 seconds to play.
I mean, I think, Greg, you know, we were talking about getting ready for this game today. Some things that impressed me, all the things that the Broncos do on offense, the number of plays, the formations, the defense, it's very complicated. Tom Coughlin even said it. They do so many things, so much movement, all the blitzing, and they can do it because they have a lot of experienced ball players. I think on offense, Denver averages 30 years of age. On defense, 28. You know, by far the 2 oldest starting units in the National Football League.
So let's broach this subject. 8 weeks into the season, the Denver Broncos will walk out of here 7-0. Is this a team capable of going unbeaten this regular season?
Oh, that's too early to start talking about. I would, if they get to 10-0, then you start talking about it. But you know, the other interesting point, talking to Alfred Williams with the Denver Broncos, he was talking about all the older players, how they do it, and he says, hey, we're having a showcase a game today. This is for all the players in the league to let them know our way works out here in Denver, and we're going to start getting all those good free agents. And you know what? It's kind of true. I believe it. They treat them good. The practice situation is fairly easy on the players. They reward the coach by coming out and playing hard and winning football games.
What's happened today? Well, one of the things that'll make the papers tomorrow, Terrell Davis, the 3rd running back in history to gain 1,000 rushing yards in his first 7 games, and Jason Elam's 63-yard NFL record-tying field goal to end the first half. You know, looking at this, the possibility of the Broncos going unbeaten, they travel to Cincinnati next week. Then they're home to San Diego. They have to go to Kansas City. They're home to Oakland. Then they travel to San Diego, and they finish the season with Kansas City, the Giants, Miami, Seattle.
Couple tough games against good defenses on the road. That's the games I'd look for them to have trouble winning.
3rd and 13. The pass is complete to McCardell, and that's enough for a first down. 20 yards. And McCardell out of bounds to stop the clock.
You know, I think the one thing this game has done today for the Jacksonville Jaguars, it's got their offense back in the attack mode again. In other words, I think they've lost that for the first 6 games of this year. Now, let these wide receivers and the quarterback, I think they're all dynamic players, put the ball in their hands a little more.
First down from the 44. Brunell throws complete. And down to the 25-yard line is Reggie Barlow. 19-yard pickup, and again, the Jacksonville Jaguars in a hurry-up mode. The clock runs, coming up on 15 seconds to play. And Brunell spikes the ball to stop the clock at exactly 15. You know, as the Jacksonville Jaguars look to get back into a winning frame of mind with this, their second defeat, only one of their next 7 opponents have a winning record. And you know what? That's going to be no consolation to that man whatsoever.
Oh, no, he's not going to be happy. He wanted to see where his team measured up against what he thought was the best football team in the National Football League today. And I think coming in the game, he felt like this was going to be close, and they were going to have a chance to win it late in the game.
Brunell with time. Out of the pocket, near side, directing traffic, and throws it away. 6 seconds remain. Bill Romanowski chasing Brunell and now having words with Tony Vaselli. Brunell versus Elway today. It's not a final yet, but we're coming up on it.
Mark Brunell playing from behind all day, really under pressure. Pretty good performance, 27 of 46, 350, no interceptions under all the pressure he's played under. That is really a great effort by a quarterback.
And sacked 6 times. Elway didn't suffer a sack. Brunell dances outside. This will be the last play of the night. And he's tripped up and goes down. Neil Smith got it. The 7th and final sack of the night puts a cap on a Denver victory that saw a great performance by Terrell Davis. Once again, the final score, the Denver Broncos 37 and Jacksonville 24. Next Sunday, week 9 of the NFL on CBS features a full array of regional games. In some areas, John Elway and these Broncos challenge the Bengals. Check your local listings, beginning with Jim Nantz and Company on the NFL Today. Tonight on CBS, you were always taught the Indians were the first people to inhabit America, but a 9,000-year-old skeleton found in Washington State could change all that. 60 Minutes reports. Then it's Touched by an Angel, followed by the CBS Sunday movie Beauty, starring Janine Turner and Jamie Sheridan. Sims and Armin Kante, and I'm Greg Gumbel. So long from Denver. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports.